Despite Russia's promotion of the S-500 as a new benchmark in air defense, it is still far from being a widely deployed or thoroughly validated system. As of now, it remains a niche, internally prioritized platform with limited serial production and zero confirmed exports. The Indian defense ecosystem, complex, layered, and financially stretched, must weigh such realities carefully. Beyond the already discussed concerns, several strategic, operational, and doctrinal level complications further reduce the appeal of the S-500. One of the central issues is technological maturity. The S-500, officially named Prometheus, is still in its early operational stage. It has reportedly been deployed only with select units of Russia's aerospace forces, and even there, likely in small numbers. These deployments serve more as semi-operational trials than as true active service. No indication exists that full-scale regimental formations of the S-500 are operating at combat readiness across Russia's vast territory. This lack of widespread domestic use undercuts confidence in the system's stability and readiness for foreign military integration. India has seen the risks of over-relying on under-tested systems before. Historically, complex Russian-origin platforms, like the MiG-29K for naval aviation or the T-90 tanks with localized upgrades, have faced serviceability and logistics issues. In each of those cases, Russian supply chains were slow to respond to operational problems, maintenance needs, or critical part shortages. Given that the S-500 is far more complex and much less mature than those platforms, the risk of logistical dependency on a fragile and sanctioned Russian industrial base would be even greater. Another layer of concern lies in the S-500's targeting philosophy. While its advertised range and engagement envelope sound impressive, intercepting ballistic missiles at ranges of up to 600 kilometers and aircraft or satellites at even greater altitudes, this expansive reach creates its own tactical contradictions. High-altitude, long-range interceptors require highly networked surveillance and early warning architecture. If the system does not receive real-time tracking data from satellites or long-range over-the-horizon radars, its performance drops sharply. India, unlike Russia, does not yet operate a global network of space-based missile tracking systems or early warning aircraft in the quantity needed to exploit the S-500's theoretical capabilities. Therefore, a significant part of the S-500's potential would go unused in Indian conditions. This introduces a serious cost-efficiency problem, purchasing a high-cost platform whose standout features are not practically usable. Training and manpower are also critical challenges. Operating the S-500 requires a skilled cadre of officers and technical specialists trained not just in radar and missile systems, but in multi-domain tracking and response protocols involving aircraft, satellites, and missile threats. India already faces training gaps for newer systems like the S-400 and advanced indigenous missile platforms. Introducing the S-500 would not only require specialized technical exchanges with Russia, which may be restricted or limited due to export control, but would also demand years of crew buildup and language-adjusted training materials. These are resources that could arguably be better spent on maturing domestic systems or interoperable partnerships with other vendors. Additionally, the command and control infrastructure for the S-500 is largely isolated from NATO-compatible or joint-use protocols. Its communications encryption, radar data links, and engagement logic are all Russian-designed and closely held. Integrating this system into India's air defense command grid would require either major customizations, which Russia may be unwilling to support due to export security concerns, or the creation of a parallel, semi-detached command structure, both options reducing overall interoperability and increasing overhead. Economically, India has entered a phase of balancing defense modernization with domestic production. The Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat policies promote self-reliance, in recent years have seen accelerated progress in radar development, air defense systems like Akash, and ballistic missile defense BMD layers. Acquiring the S-500, a black box system with limited or no scope for local manufacturing or technology transfer, would go against this strategic direction. Unlike deals with France, Israel, or the United States where offset clauses or joint production have been negotiated, Russian systems like the S-500 are not structured for cooperative manufacturing. This leaves India with high acquisition costs and minimal domestic industrial benefits. There's also the matter of long-term supportability. Even the S-400, while more mature, has faced after-sales support issues including delays in spare parts, software upgrades, and radar maintenance. The S-500, being even newer and more secretive, is almost certain to experience worse delays and longer downtime in case of technical malfunctions. India would need to either rely on a permanent team of Russian engineers embedded within its defense forces, which introduces security and dependency risks, or develop its own maintenance solutions from scratch, which could take years and still face classification-related hurdles. Strategically, there's a more philosophical risk: the potential locking in of India's long-term air defense architecture to a system that is both geopolitically polarizing and possibly already halfway to obsolescence. The fact that Russian officials have hinted at the S-550, without clear public data, suggests internal dissatisfaction with the S-500's current scope. Whether the S-550 is merely a branding update or a fundamentally new system is not clear, but the implication is evident: the S-500 may be a transitional platform, not the final answer. By the time India completes procurement, training, integration, and deployment, the system could be technically behind the curve, especially if adversaries evolve their own countermeasures against it. Finally, from a strategic autonomy perspective, acquiring the S-500 could constrain India's ability to maneuver diplomatically. The geopolitical risks of additional Russian hardware, particularly a cutting-edge strategic system, include triggering further CATSA scrutiny, straining procurement partnerships with Western suppliers, and complicating India's efforts to maintain balanced defense ties with multiple blocs. Unlike the S-400, which had some degree of precedent and political buffering, the S-500 could prove much harder to defend diplomatically in international forums due to its deeper strategic role in Russian-only classification. The S-500 presents a wide range of disadvantages for India at this point: unverified operational performance, delayed production timelines, integration and support challenges, reduced combat applicability in India's current infrastructure, high costs, doctrinal incompatibility, lack of industrial benefits, and the risk of future obsolescence. A deal would likely come with more long-term complications than short-term gains. India's air defense strategy would be better served by continuing to expand and mature its own multi-layered systems, while selectively incorporating proven, export-ready foreign systems that offer interoperability, industrial cooperation, and strategic flexibility. The S-500, in its current state, offers none of those.